طيب اليوم نحن نكمل الدرس الماضي. So today we are going to continue previous lesson. So in our previous lesson we talk a little bit about the topic of al-masdar. Al-masdar. This is on the page 32. Ithnani wa thalathun. Naam, al-masdar. So just to recap what we have covered last week. So basically al-masdar is the verbal noun. It is the noun of a verb. So masdar is taken from a verb. So it is formed from a verb. So every time you have a verb, you should have a masdar. Okay, and how do you translate the word masdar? So sometimes you translate it similar to the verb itself. The difference is that masdar will include, verb or fi'l will include not just the action but also zaman, the time. That is why you have fi'l madi, past tense, fi'l mudari, present, or continuous tense, and also fi'l amr. But when we talk about al-masdar, so it is only about the action and not about the time. Okay, so that is about the masdar. And we have also mentioned that in the last class, there are two types of masdar. So masdar, there are two types. Two types here, it means how do you form the masdar. So there will be two broad types. The first one is called as the masdar sama'i. Masdar sama'i. So sama'i is referring to what we heard from the Arab themselves, or it can also be translated as what we found in the dictionary. Okay, and that is what we call as the sama'i. It means that there is no rules that we can follow to form the masdar. And another type of masdar is called the masdar al-qiyasi or qiyasiyah. Qiyas, so here you can depends on certain wazan. So you look at the wazan, then you will be able to find out what is the correct masdar. So that is qiyasi. In other words, it has a rule that you can follow. Okay, that is the two broad category of masdar, sama'i and also qiyasi. And we have also said that for sama'i, here they said for masdar sama'i, the one that we only know depends based on the dictionary is the thulathi mujarrad fi'l. Fi'l that consists of only 3 letters. Okay, you don't have any additional letters, only 3 letters. So for this kind of fi'l, the masdar is only available in the dictionary. Okay, we need to check in the dictionary. So for example, the word kataba, okay, to write. So if you want to say writing, so the masdar is, we go to the dictionary and you will find the masdar is kitaba. For example, the word la'iba, to play, and the masdar is la'ib. So in the previous class, I did mention that please ignore the last sign. So instead of kitabatan, we just say kitaba, enough. Instead of saying la'iban, we just say la'ib. So that is the masdar, playing. Kharaja, to exit, to go out. The masdar is khuruj, going out. Khuruj. So again, ignore the last sign, khurujan. Okay, just say khuruj is enough. So that is the masdar sulasi, the masdar sama'i, and that we can know by referring to the dictionary. But there is another masdar which is qiyasi. So this is what we are going to focus on. For the qiyasi masdar, so you will be depending on the wazan. Okay, so here they said you have to use certain wazan. You need to know the masdar, the wazan, and the wazan is here on the next page. Okay, so this is the wazan, and I combine this table that is in your textbook together with the table that I gave you previously about the wazan al-fi'l sulasi al-mazid. So you can also refer to our old table. Okay. Let's look at the first table, or the table that is in your textbooks. Okay, so again, remember, this is the table, or this is the wazan for other than the sulasi mujarrad, which means if the fi'l is sulasi mazid, 3 letter but with additional letters, or it is rubai, 4 letter fi'l, or rubai mazid, 4 letter fi'l with additional letters. So you can refer to this table. Naam. Okay, so basically what we have here is first the wazan. So this is the wazan of the fi'l. So this is similar to what we had before. Okay, I gave you the same wazan. Af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, infa'ala, ifta'ala, tafa'ala, tafa'ala, if'ala, istaf'ala. So basically, you have the same wazan here. Af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, infa'ala, ifta'ala, and until the end. So this is including the sulasi mazid and also the rubai. So number 12, 13, this is rubai mujarrad, and number 14, this is the rubai mazid. So other than the 3-letter fi'il. Okay, so they combine everything here. That is number 1. So the wazan, we have covered them. Okay, and then, but what they do not have here is the mudari. They don't give you the mudari, but you can also refer to the previous table. So I gave you the mudari for each of these wazan. So for example, if the wazan is af'ala, the mudari is yuf'ilu. Okay, fa'ala, yufa'ilu. So you can add the mudari of the wazan here. It is up to you. You can add it here, or you can always refer to the previous table. Okay, what is new is this part. This is the topic, or our topic today, which is the al-masdar. Al-masdar. So here, okay, let us look at the masdar. They said that if the wazan of the fi'il is af'ala. Okay. So if the wazan of fi'il is af'ala, of course, from the previous level, you need to know the mudari as well. Af'ala. So af'ala, the mudari is yuf'ilu. Okay, now you add another column to this old table, or you add another column to this new table, and this is the masdar. This is the verbal noun of the verb if it is following the wazan af'ala. So af'ala, fi'il madi, fi'il mudari, it is yuf'ilu from the previous table, and this is the masdar, that is if'al. If'al. So you have to memorize this. Af'ala, yuf'ilu, if'al. Madi, mudari, masdar. Af'ala, yuf'ilu, if'al. Okay, so the example is as they gave you here. The example is ahsana. Ahsana. So this is similar. Af'ala, ahsana. So when the fi'il is ahsana, what is the mudari? So before we talk about the masdar, we need to form the mudari as well. So mudari, so you refer to the previous one. Ahsana, af'ala, mudari is yuf'ilu. Ahsana, yuhsinu. Okay, ahsana, yuhsinu. So you can add it here. Yuhsinu. Ahsana, yuhsinu. Okay, that is the mudari. Where is this? Sorry. Ahsana, yuhsinu, that is the mudari. Now we want the masdar. We want the masdar. So the masdar, it will be if'al. The masdar is if'al. So what do you need to do is you change this to this wazan, if'al. So what is if'al? The fi'il is now ihsan. Ihsan. And how do you form this? Similar to what we had previously in the lesson of wazan. So what do you do is you just take the wazan, if'al, and you match the fa, ain, lam to the original huruf of the fi'il. So fa is referring to ha. So for this fi'il, fa is referring to the ha. Ain is referring to the sin. And lam is referring to the letter nun. So these are the root letters, the root word, hasuna. Okay, so what do you do next? You add whatever additional letters that you have in the wazan, you add it to the fi'il. So here alif is additional letter, you add it here. And sorry, hamza, and then you have alif, you add that to the fi'il, to the word itself. Okay, and then what else? You follow the harakat. So here they say the wazan is if'al, so the word now is ihsan. So this is your masdar for the word if'al. Okay, so that is the masdar. So af'ala, yuf'ilu, if'al, and the fi'il is ahsana, yuhsinu, ihsan. Okay, so that is the masdar for the fi'il af'ala, or the wazan af'ala. And the meaning of ahsana, ahsana means to do good thing, ahsana, or to do something very well, that is also ahsana. Ihsan, doing good things or doing well, that is ihsan. Okay, to have ihsana. That is the first wazan. And then we go to the second. If you have any question, please interrupt me, please ask. And then we go to the second wazan, which is fa'ala. Fa'ala. Fa'ala, again, as usual, refer to the old table. so that you know what is the mudari. Fa'ala, the mudari is from the old table. Fa'ala, sorry. Fa'ala, here. It is here. Yufa'ilu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. So now you add the masdar. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. So this is the masdar. Taf'il. Taf'il. So again, fa'ala yufa'ilu. You add yufa'ilu here, and then you have taf'il. Okay, so that is the masdar for the fi'il fa'ala. But if you look at this verb or this wazan, it has another masdar. It has another masdar, which means you can have two masdar. Sometimes you can have more than one masdar, more than one verbal noun for a fi'il. So in this case, if it is fa'ala, the masdar can be either taf'il and or taf'ilah. Taf'ilah. Okay, it depends on the context. Okay, taf'il or taf'ilah. So at the moment, we just form both of them. Okay, we just try to find out what is the masdar for each of these wazan. So, for example, they give you karrama. Karrama. Karrama means to honor, honoring. Now you want to say karrama, this is fi'il madi. And what is the mudari? Mudari, you can refer to the wazan mudari. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. So karrama yukarrimu. Okay, you refer to the previous table. Karrama yukarrimu. And then we have this masdar, taf'il. So what is the masdar for karrama? It is takrim. So again, how do you get this? By pairing the original huruf, the fa ain lam with the original huruf. So fa again, fa ain lam. This is the original huruf for kaf, ra, and then the lam is the mim. And then you add ta and you add ya. Okay, just the same process. Okay, like other wazan. Taf'il, takrim. So that is how we get this. How we get this word takrim. Alright. So this is the first masdar for the fi'il fa'ala. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il, karrama yukarrimu takrim. So what is the meaning of takrim? To honor, honoring. So it is the verbal noun. Honoring a person, you say takrim. Takrimu ad-daif, for example. Now, so this is the first wazan for the fi'il fa'ala. But this fi'il, as I've mentioned, it has another wazan. Yeah? Sometimes you can have another masdar using another wazan. And the wazan is taf'ilah. Taf'ilah. And the example for this is like the fi'il jarraba. Jarraba. Jarraba is to try out, to try. To try or to test is jarraba. Okay, to try. Jarraba fa'ala. The mudari is yufa'ilu yujarribu. Okay, from the previous table. Fa'ala yufa'ilu jarraba yujarribu. Okay, now the masdar for this one, they say masdar is using the second masdar taf'ilah. So since it is taf'ilah, again, what we need to do is you just pair fa to the jim, ain to the ra, and lam to the ba. Okay, so now you have the root word. And then you just add the ta and the ta in the end. And follow the haraka, tajriba, taf'ila, tajriba. So you have another masdar for the word jarraba. Okay, or for the fi'il fa'ala. So we say jarraba yujarribu tajriba. So what is tajriba? Jarraba is to try. Tajriba is a trial. Jarraba yujarribu tajriba. Okay, we tried, trying to do. So we say tajriba. Now this is a try, tajriba. Okay, that is for the second wazan fa'ala. The third wazan fa'ala. Fa'ala. And for the mudari of fa'ala, refer to the previous table. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. Shahada yushahidu. So here, fa'ala, you add the mudari, yufa'ilu, and this is the new one. We have the masdar. So again, here you have two masdar for this wazan. Similar to the wazan fa'ala, you have two wazan. So for the fa'ala, we also have two wazan. The first wazan is mufa'ala. Mufa'ala. So we say fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'ala. Mufa'ala, where you add what do you add here? You add mim, you add alif, and you add ta. Okay, so that is the first masdar for fa'ala. The example is amala. Amala. If you want to find the mudari, you just change to yufa'ilu, then you will get the mudari. Yu'amilu. Amala yu'amilu. Okay, what is the masdar? Mufa'ala. Mufa'ala. Mu'amala. Mu'amala. Okay, so you match the fa to the ain to the mim, and the lam to the lam, and add mim and add ta. So you have the masdar for amala. Amala yu'amilu mu'amala. Amala bermakna to treat. How do you treat people? Mu'amala yu'amilu, treat people, and mu'amala, the way the treatment of people, then we say mu'amala. Okay, so that is the meaning of amala mu'amala. Then we look at the second masdar for the fi'il fa'ala. Okay, sometimes you can have another masdar, another wazan. Fa'ala again, fa'ala yufa'ilu, but now the masdar is fi'alun. Fi'alun. Just now fa'ala, now fi'alun for the same fi'il. Fi'al. So here what you add is just the alif. Okay, you don't have mim, you don't have ta, you just add alif. Fa'ala fi'al. The example for this verb is jahada. Fi'il madhi jahada, fi'il mudhari yujahidu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu, jahada yujahidu. And what is the masdar for yujahidu or jahada? Fi'alun, jihadun. So fa, this is the jim, ain is the ha, and lam is the dal. You add alif. So jihadun. So what is jihad? Jihad is the verbal noun for the word jahada, for the fi'il jahada. So jahada is to strive, to struggle, to perform, to fight the mushrikeen. Jahada. What is the verbal noun? Jihad. So what is jihad? Fighting the mushrikeen or struggling to perform the best. That is the meaning of jihad. Okay. So these are the two wazan or the two masdar for the fi'il fa'ala. Fa'ala. So since here you have two wazan, so how do you know which one is the correct one? So in the end, you need to refer to the dictionary. Even though you still have wazan, wazan is just to help us to find the masdar. But in the end, since you have two masdar, so which one is the correct one? Which one is the suitable one for your sentence? Then you need to refer to the dictionary. Okay, this is how do you deal for the fi'il that has two wazan for the masdar. Next, we go to the next fi'il. The next fi'il is in fa'ala. In fa'ala. In fa'ala, where you have alif and known as the additional letters. In fa'ala. Mudari for in fa'ala, refer to the previous one. In fa'ala yanfa'ilu. In fa'ala yanfa'ilu. Today we add the masdar to this table. Add the masdar. So what is the masdar for in fa'ala? In fa'ala yanfa'ilu. In fi'al. That is the masdar. In fi'al. In fi'al. Okay. The example is in kasara. In kasara. Mudari yan kasiru. Yan in kasara yan kasir. What is the masdar? The masdar is in kisar. In kisar. In fi'al. So they are similar. In fi'al and in kisar. What is the meaning in fa'al, in kisar or in kasara? In kasara means something is broken. We say in kasara. In kasara al-bab, the door was broken. In kasara. Yan kasiru, in the mudari. Yan kasirul bab, so the door is broken. In kisar, the breaking of the door. So the door is the condition of the door. We say in kisarul bab. Naam. Who causes it? So you will explain later. So this is the masdar. Naam. Only one masdar for the fi'il in fa'ala. The next fi'il ifta'ala. Ifta'ala. Mudari for ifta'ala, yafta'ilu. This one. Ifta'ala yafta'ilu. So you add the masdar to the table. Ifta'ala yafta'ilu. The masdar is this one. Ifti'alun. Ifti'al. So the last sign, it depends. In some books, they just use ifti'alun. They use a dhamma. In other book, they use ifti'alan. They put a fatha in the end of each of these masdar. Not a problem. So they are still the same word. Only the function, the grammar function is different. So since this is only about the word and not in the sentence, so we don't care. We don't care whether it is ifti'alun, ifti'alan, ifti'alin. We treat them as the same word. All right. So we just say ifti'al. That's fine. So ifta'ala, yafta'ilu, ifti'al. The example is iqtaraha, to suggest. Suggest. Fi'il madi iqtaraha, suggested. Fi'il mudari yaqtarihu. Yafta'ilu, yaqtarihu. Refer to the old table. If iqtaraha, yaqtarihu. So this is the masdar. Ifti'al, iqtirah. Iqtirah. Iqtirah means suggestion. So suggestion is iqtirah. For example, you say indi iqtirah, I have a suggestion. Indi iqtirah. If you want to say I want to suggest, ana aqtarih. So you have to use the correct word. If you use the fi'l is aqtarihu, yaqtarihu, or iqtaraha, fi'l madi. If you want to use the verbal noun, iqtirah, the noun. Naam. The next wazan is for the fi'l tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. Yatafa'alu. From the old table, tafa'ala, yatafa'alu. Tafa'ala, yatafa'alu. So now is the masdar. The masdar is tafa'ul. Tafa'ul. Again, tafa'ala, yatafa'alu, tafa'ul. Tafa'ul. The example is tawakkala. Tawakkala. Mudari' yatawakkalu. Following the wazan yatafa'alu, yatawakkalu. So what is the masdar? The masdar tafa'ul, tawakkul. Tawakkul. Okay, tawakkul. So tawakkala, everybody understand tawakkala. So we believe in God's decision, or we hope that Allah will do something good for us. Tawakkala, we depend on our God. Tawakkala, yatawakkalu. So this is the verbal noun. Tawakkul. Tawakkul, depending on God. So we say tawakkul. At-tawakkulu ala Allah wajibun. For example, we want to say to have tawakkal to God is wajib. So you have to use the verbal noun instead of using a fi'il. If you want to say I have trust in God, at-tawakkalu, and then you will use the verb. Okay. So this is the masdar tawakkul. Tafa'ul. The next fi'il, the next wazan, tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. Okay, tafa'ala, and from the old table, tafa'ala, mudari is yatafa'alu. Tafa'ala, yatafa'alu. So today, the masdar. Tafa'ala, yatafa'alu, the masdar is tafa'ul. Tafa'ul. The example is ta'amala, yata'amalu, ta'amul. Ta'amul. So ta'amala is, this is similar to the word amala just now. To treat other people or to deal with other people. Then you say ta'amala. Ta'amala. Mudari' ya ta'amalu. The masdar is ta'amul. Your treatment to other people. How do you deal? The dealing of, okay, to you with other people, we say ta'amul. Okay, so this is tafa'ul. The next wazan, if'alla. 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 From the old table, the mudari is yaf'alu. If'alla, yaf'alu. If'alla, yaf'alu. And the masdar is if'alla, yaf'alu, if'ilal. 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 So you look at here, you have two lam. Here, you have only one lam. But remember, this is with a tad'if, with a shaddah. And we have explained that this shaddah means that there are actually two letters. The two lam. Where is this two lam? So here they break. So here they combine the two lam. Here they breaks the two lam. So that is why you have two lams. If ilal. If ilal. Okay. So if Allah yaf'alu if ilal. The example is ihmarra. Ihmarra. Mudari yahmarru. Yahmarru. And this is the masdar ihmirar. Ihmirar. So ihmarra bermakna to turn into red. To turn into red color. Or if it is face, to blush, right? Ihmarra, yahmarru, ihmirar. So ihmirar, turning into red. Then we say ihmirar. Now, this is the masdar. And the next wazan, number 11, the next wazan is istaf'ala. This is the longest fi'il that you can have. 6 letters. Istaf'ala. Istaf'ala. So from the old table, istaf'ala, yastaf'ilu. Istaf'ala yastaf'ilu. Istaf'ala yastaf'ilu. And what is the masdar? Istaf'ala yastaf'ilu istif'al. Istif'al. The example is istaghfara. Istaghfara. Mudari yastaghfiru. Yastaf'ilu. Yastaghfiru. And the masdar istighfar. Istighfar. Istif'al. Okay, so istaghfara, this is the verb. You want to say he sought for forgiveness. He sought for Allah's forgiveness. Istaghfarallah. Mudari, yastaghfiru, he is seeking for Allah's forgiveness. Astaghfirullah, that is what we always say. Astaghfiru, that is in the mudari form. If you want to say the verb, the verbal noun, that is istighfar. So istighfar, the one that we always say, istighfar is not the verb. That is just the verbal noun, the noun. So the whole thing, what do? You say astaghfirullah lazim. So that is why it is called the istighfar. So istighfar is the noun. Istaghfara or yastaghfiru is the fi'il, the verb. The next wazan. Okay, now the rest is the next. This is for the ruba'i fi'il. This is the fi'il ruba'i, 4-letter fi'il, ruba'i mujarrad, and this is for the ruba'i mazid. So for ruba'i, both mujarrad and mazid, they provide you with the wazan as well. So you don't need to refer to the dictionary. Fa'lala, mudari is yufa'lilu. So from here, fa'lala, sorry, this is from the another table, the mazid, mujarrad, ruba'i mujarrad. You don't have it here. Fa'lala yufa'lilu. The mudari is yufa'lilu. Fa'lala yufa'lilu. This is the masdar fi'lal. 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 Or, there are two masdar. Or fa'lala. Fa'lala. Fi'lal, fa'lala. So these are the two masdar for the fi'il fa'lala yufa'lilu. Alright? The example is, for example, the fi'il zalzala. Zalzala, to shake, to make it tremble. So zalzala, Allah makes the earth having an earthquake. We say zalzalallahu al-arda. Zalzala Allah al-arda. So zalzala fi'il madi, fi'il mudari yuzalzilu, yufa'lilu, yuzalzilu. This is the masdar. If you follow the first wazan, fi'lal, and then you will get this word, zilzal. Zilzal. So what is zilzal? The earthquake itself. Okay, the earthquake itself is called zilzal. And this is the one that we had in Surah Zalzala. We say, Iza zulzilatil ardu zilzalaha. Zilzal. Okay, so zilzal is basically the earthquake. The fi'l is zalzala. Another wazan, zalzala yuzalzilu. Another wazan is fa'lala. 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 So it becomes zalzala. Zalzala. So zalzala, the meaning is similar to the word zilzal. Okay, so zilzal in the surah, it is called zilzalaha. So the word zilzalaha, but the name of the surah is this, Surah Al-Zalzala. Surah to Al-Zalzala. So they use both words. Okay, you can use both words, zilzal and also zalzala. And the final or the last wazan, wazan for the fi'il is tafa'lala. Tafa'lala. Mudari' tafa'lala, you refer to the old table, tafa'lala yatafa'lalu. Tafa'lala yatafa'lalu. Tazalzala yatazalzalu. Or here they give you another fi'il. Tadahwara. Tadahwara. Tadahwara means to decline. To decline. To become worse in quality, you say tadahwara. That is also tadahwara. Nah. So tadahwara, mudari is yatadahwaru from the previous table. Yatadahwaru, and the masdar, we follow this. Tafa'lul, tadahwur, tadahwur. Nah, tadahwur. Okay, tadahwur, going backwards. That is also tadahwur. Nah. So these are the wazan of masdar for each of the fi'il, wazan fi'il that we have learned previously. Yes. Any questions? Any questions so far for the wazan? Okay, so as yes, you want to ask? All right. So again, for the wazan, this is important. Wazan is very important. You need to memorize the wazan. Fi'il madi, fi'il mudari, masdar. So at least these three: madi, mudari, masdar. So next time when you have memorize all these wazan, if I give you one word, immediately you know, oh, this is the madi, and this is the mudari, and what is the masdar. So when you want to write a sentence, then you know which word that you should use. Okay, so that is the importance of memorizing this wazan.